Right, have I got my microphone on? No? Oh, yes, I've got microphone. Whew. How can you tell I'm a beginner at this? Anyway, welcome to the program. This is our second program from Memories of Singapore. And thank you, first of all, for all the nice comments that you made last week and the words of encouragement. Keep them comments coming. We're always interested to hear what you think. If you have any suggestions about program content and that, or if you want to add something, like a video of which you've made yourself, by all means get in touch and we'll play it. Hi Pam. Messages are coming through. Lovely. Okay, well, tonight's programme, we've got Ken Wilden with an update of last Saturday's virtual reunion. We've got a video of some of John Irwin's photos, which are on the site, which I put together. We've got an interview with Lynn Copping about early reunions and the database. And finally, we've got a video of St John's School reunion in Southampton in 2002. I think it was January 2002. Anyway, we'll go straight on with Ken Wilden, I think, if I get this up. Hey Ken, last Saturday we had the first ever virtual reunion for the Far East, ex-Far East Brickbats page. How do you feel it went?
Absolutely tremendous, Tom. Far better than I could have anticipated. None of us had any idea what was going to happen, how it was going to work, what was going to work, what wasn't going to work. Nobody had ever done it before. It was first time for everything. And so, of course, there were one or two people who expected you to sort of pour their tea for them or buy their beer when they walked in, but majority of the people came along, enjoyed themselves. I've got some fantastic figures for you, which I'll read out to you in a moment. But really, the response and the feedback we got from it was absolutely tremendous. So much so that we might even do it again, as long as we stay locked down. Because I think it's a lot of time for a lot of people. Even something to look forward to, something to plan for, and something to enjoy when they came along to it.
Now, that's good. Yeah, smashing.
We had more than 400 visitors between 10 o'clock New Zealand time and midnight Canada time. Something in excess of 400 different visitors. Some visitors came and went, had a look, came back, and so on. But some of the interesting figures are within that, because I put up a bit of a poll thing, asking people things about what they enjoyed about it. And there was about 170 people responded to that, and 169 liked it.
That's good.
And one didn't. You can't beat everybody, can you? But I'm sorry for that person. Sorry to that one person. But yeah, but of those people, we asked them the questions like, did you share any memories? 168 of those 170 respondents shared memories.
That is good. Yeah, that's good.
Other people's memories. So that is all about taking part. That's all about being involved. And that was, I think, exactly what we were aiming for. 110, 120 people said, keep me posted. If there's another one, let's do it again.
Yeah.
So how can you say no? And a number of people had been to other reunions, either at home in their own country, be it New Zealand, Australia, Canada, UK, wherever, or had been to some of our foreign joints, although fewer people had gone to the overseas joints. But considering the size of the world, that's not bad. Whether that will happen in future when people reconsider whether they want to fly or not is something we can only put our finger up in the air and hope for, isn't it?
That's right.
some other interesting figures that came out of it was the number of people who didn't realise there were as many other people exactly like them in the world. And being ex-forces kids, because they don't in normal life meet ex-forces kids,
That's true. That's true.
and they don't relate to them, they don't know them, could suddenly find that there are thousands of other people like them. And they loved that, they really did. And the number of people who are still looking for old friends, most of us have found, a number of us have found most of the friends that we were looking for, or we found out about them, they're no longer with us, or whatever it might be. But also we share memories about friends. So people say, I remember so-and-so, whatever happened to him, and then someone else says, oh yes, he did so-and-so, and he's doing well for himself, or he passed away, whatever it might be. But all that information is there. All you have to do is ask. And on a day like that, that was very, very obvious. People were saying, I haven't seen so-and-so. Has anyone heard of so-and-so? And so-and-so pops up and says, I'm here.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, because often when everybody is online at the same time, I suppose that's...
That's right, that's right. But there is so many posts and things in there because, of course, being Facebook, it's not the easiest thing to navigate.
True.
And so if somebody's put something on there an hour ago, it's not on the main screen an hour later unless someone's added something to it, because otherwise it keeps pinging back up to the top, doesn't it? And so a lot of it is pot luck. Now, one thing that Malcolm Brunson is looking at doing is adding a separate section within the Facebook group just for people to ask, where are they now?
Yeah.
So then people can have a look at that and say, oh, so-and-so is looking for so-and-so. I know where they are. And hopefully that will re-cement a lot of old friendships. And that's what we're hoping. We've had years of introducing friends to each other, but now we're going to take it a whole step further. We really are. And that really is one of the most exciting things about last Saturday. The number of people who said, if I'd known about this, I'd have done it sooner.
Yeah.
Or I've always said that there's no point me going along to a reunion because I'm not going to know anybody. And I come along to this one, and there they are. And I keep making the point, don't I, that you and I didn't know each other in Singapore.
That's right, yeah.
We're pretty good mates now, along with most of my Singapore friends are people that I've met in the last 20 years. I didn't know them 50 years ago, but boy, do I know them now.
That's true, yeah, same here. Yeah, I count the number of people I actually knew in Singapore on one hand.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, something else that came up during the discussion, and we've seen this before, but I'm hoping we can find a way around it, especially for reunions, and this is one for the ladies. Most of our lady members have changed their last names since we were at school together. So Susie Smith is now Susan Jones, and people say, well, I won't find anyone because I don't know what their surname is now, or they don't know what my surname is now. And I would suggest that on occasions like that, when you're about to type something in there, when you start to type into a box, your name comes up. So it's messages from you. There's nothing difficult at all about opening a bracket, putting your was Smith, was Jones, was whatever, close brackets, and then go on and say your point.
That's a good idea. Yeah, good idea.
Put their name on there. We will know who they were. If you have a long list of what people's surnames were, it achieves nothing because no one's going to go through that long list. But each time you put a post, will be during a reunion session in particular, but just general points, when somebody is putting something on there, just putting was, whatever their surname was, and seeing what response that brings. I'm pretty sure it'll work, and I'm pretty sure it'll work big time, but only if we spread the word.
That's true.
So it was a tremendous, tremendous day. I was absolutely shattered at the end of it.
It would have been a long day for you.
It was a day and a half, really, you know. And the thing is that when you've started something, absolutely everything that goes on, you get one of these messages comes up saying, so and so liked this, or so and so said something about that, and so on. And I had hundreds and hundreds of these information things coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry if I did miss anything, but I tried my best not to, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, some of the other admins were also involved in it and helping to make things happen and so on. But you know, we're always open to ideas, and if we fancy doing it again, I think we should. And we'll go from there. So yeah, it was good. It was good. And if I'm talking to anyone on this broadcast that wasn't there, why not?
yeah, why not?
You might get there and not like it, but with the odds of 169 for and 1 against.
Yeah. Well, I was popping in and out all day. You know, I was catching up and then going off and doing something and then coming back and having another look, you know.
It ought to start it all off. Now, Tony lives in the wilds of Scotland, but of course, he's a Kiwi. And he's also a late to bed man. So 10 o'clock New Zealand time in the morning was something like 11 o'clock UK time in the evening.
Yeah.
So good old Tony from the wilds of Scotland introduced the New Zealanders. That was followed by Colin McCormack and his crew taking over the Australian bit. We then ran all the way around the world until we ended up on the west coast of Canada and the west coast of the United States. We've got members literally all over the world.
We have that, yeah.
It's something we should be proud of, it really is. Yeah, I think the whole thing about the dandelion, and if you haven't read the poem that comes with the opening photograph on Ex Far East Brit, let's just take a moment to read it, because it describes you. It describes me. It describes every single one of us.
That's true.
Do all that.
Yeah. Okay, Ken. Thanks very much. Well, you can see from Ken's enthusiasm there that it all went very well. So next up is a video of John Irwin's photographs. Now, John contributed 3 pages of photographs to the site. I've taken a few of them and put them together. And at the end of the video, there's a link to, not a link, but it tells you where to find John's photographs on the website. So hopefully this will work. as you can see, that was some iconic buildings in that video, and a lot of you might have recognised Changi and the West Coast Road in his thing. That's because John was in the RAF in Changi. If anybody wants to do that, put a video together with their photographs, then by all means send it in. I'll also do some more of that with other people's photographs for future programmes. Next up, we've got Lynn Coppin, who is talking about her early reunions and how she started in them, and the database that she maintains. So, with a bit of luck. Welcome to the programme, Lynn Coppin. I think your name is familiar to a lot of people through your work on the database and the first reunions. Can you tell us how you got involved with all this?
Yes, certainly. Back in summer 2000, which is what, 20 years ago now, we got a home computer, and it was long before Google and there was a search engine, but long before any of the social networking sites. There was no Facebook, no Friends Reunited. I discovered that the Victory Services Club had a message board. So I sent a message on the message board, and I said that I had been at school in Singapore in the 1960s and had anybody else. Very soon after that, I was delighted to get 2 messages. One was from Steve Barry, who I remembered because he played the guitar in the school youth club band. And the other was a chap called Fred Crook, who I didn't know, and he'd been at Alexandra Grammar School. Right. Steve realized who I was once I explained who some of my friends were. And Fred, I didn't know because he'd been at Alexandra Grammar, as I said. And when St. John's opened, he didn't go on there. His mother had been a primary teacher at Tenga Primary School, and he ended up going to one of the Anglo-Chinese schools, I think, or a different school anyway. So anyway, Fred knew how to set up a website. So he set up a website, but he called it alexandragrammar.org because that's the school that he'd been to. Well, I was at work. I had a home computer, but I also had my work computer. And every so often there'd be a hit, and it would be, I was at Alexandra Grammar School from 58 to 60, or I was there from 62 to 63. And then soon after that, we started getting hits saying, I went to Changi Grammar School. Can I join your site? I went to Pasir Primary. I went to Naval Base Juniors. I went to Seletar Secondary. So I thought, brilliant. I thought I better start making a list of these people. So I started, well, first of all, I started making the list. And then when people from other schools came on board, because there was nowhere else for them to go, I thought I better make a note of the school that they were at, and then the years that they were there, and then, perhaps where they live now. And another thing I had was if they were related to somebody else, like a brother or a sister. So anyway, after about 10 months, we had 100 people on our list, and we thought, right, time we had a reunion. So I decided on Hatfield because I live up in Aberdeen, and I could fly from Aberdeen to Luton fairly easily. And because it was just slightly north of London, it was fairly central, fairly easy for anyone to get to. And we had a reunion of about 100 people. Steve Barry was very good, and he got together people from the band that he played with in the at the youth club, and other band members that he had still kept in touch with. And it was like magic. It was like being back at Gilman Youth Club again when we were 14, rubbish music, hot and sweaty, dancing. Fred had put on a lovely slideshow. People had sent in photographs. We had a moving slideshow of, so different people. So you'd be dancing or talking or chatting and look up at the screen and say, I remember that, and I remember that person. The wall was covered in photographs. It was just absolutely brilliant. It was so good that we decided to do it again. Anyway, the list grew and grew and grew, and then Hillary, quite a few years ago, put us onto a Gmail account, and then we sent out regular letters, regular emails to everybody. Eventually, Alexandra Grammar site, the website, came to a close because we would have had to start paying for it. But in the meantime, prior to that, you'd started up your singers group, So Fred got in touch with you and said, can you take our one on board along with all the photos and names and everything, which you did. So that's all up and running now. And we've just had many reunions since then. I don't know if you can see, but on my lap, I have a big A3 binder going back to the year dot when this first started. When people first started registering, the emails came through to me, and I have one here, and it's from Tom at tomjoe58.freeserve.co.uk, and it's dated 15th of July 2000.
Great.
And I'll just read it out. It says, I'll put it up so that I don't have to squint. But it says, "Hi Lynn, nice to hear from you. You are right, we do not know each other, but we do have St. John's and Singapore in common. I was there from February 67 until August 69, aged 14 to 17. I only ever managed to keep in touch with two old friends from Singapore. They are Shane Terry and Ian Vale, both ex-St. John's, but I don't believe they would have been there in 66. The first place we lived in Singapore was at Hong Kong Park near Bukit Timah. Then in 68, we moved to the Sussex estate near the Kent Cinema at Dover Road. So if you knew anyone that lived on these estates, then I may have met them. I have been in touch through email with 3 people recently who were in Singapore at this time. Karen Leonard, who went to Vaughan School, Sue Titley, and Ian Williams. I hope that you will keep in touch and keep me up to date about this website that is underway. Regards, Tom. P.S. I forgot to mention, my name is Tom O'Brien. So there you go. That's dated July 2000. I bet you never knew I still. Oh, let me.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Well, I must have 200 of these old emails, and maybe, when I have time, maybe during this lockdown, I might go through them all and cross-reference, and if they're not on our mailing list of over 1,200 people, wow, I may try and find them and see what they're doing. But there you go. That surprised you, didn't it?
It did, yes. Well done. Yeah, amazing. 20 years,
Anyway, so the mailing list just goes on, and anyone watching this, if you go on to the www.singers.co.uk and register, your registration form comes straight through to me on our email list, and I add you to the database, and then you get kept in touch with all the future reunions that we're doing. I was actually looking through some of these at random because we've got quite a few Gurkha people. Who's this one from? Oh, somebody called. I think this one is actually from Fred to me in August 2001. Are we leading parallel lives? I am trying some family research of my grandfather, who was in Changi jail during the war, and my grandmother and uncle, who were evacuated and torpedoed, then saved by the Indian Navy. Everywhere I go, you crop up. Why is this? Why do I always crop up everywhere? And there's another one on this same page from Kevin Rickatson. Great site. I attended RAF Tenor School, 58 through 61. I was in Miss Peters' class. I remember the school being demolished in 1959. So anyway, if you wanted to, at another time, we could just have a little short reading session, and I could just read through, days and days. Hi, I am the brother of June Shaw, and I'm in touch, of course, with June and her husband, Ron Dadswell, who is in our group. Hundreds. I could go on and on and on forever, Tom. Yeah. So ask me another question.
That's an amazing archive of
it's absolutely wonderful. Who's this one? John McLeavy. A lot of people will remember him. He was one of the teachers, and I think, is Paul Wingrove in touch with him?
Might be, yeah.
I'm not sure, because his wife was a house mistress at Kinloss. So, of course, Tony and Paul and a lot of people that were in, and Anne Massey will all remember this person. Dozens and dozens of them. I could spend hours reading through them. And I spend hours every month on this database because we maybe get 8 or 10 people every 3 or 4 weeks joining the group, and I have to cross-reference them, put them on one database, put them on a list, check them on Facebook, invite them to join us, invite them to, you know, future reunions. We have such a wonderful time.
Yeah, there's a lot of work involved in maintaining a database as well. What I'll do after the interview is I'll demonstrate how people can go to the front page of the site and show them where the link is to bring up the form and fill it in. Well, thanks very much, Lynn, for giving us all that information and participating in the reunion.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
And, we'll take it from there next week. Well, sorry, next time.
Next time. Okay, that's lovely, Tom. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you.
Thank you. As you can see, Lynn is quite a busy person. Anyway, to follow on from what you were saying about the registration form, I am going to demonstrate, well, not yet, wait a minute. Let's get it up. Welcome to the programme, Lynn Coffin. I think your name is familiar to a lot of people. Right, let's try again. Homepage. This is it, yeah. All right, now we got it. Okay, so obviously you want singers.co.uk for the website. Underneath the slideshow, you've got Singapore Schools Reunion mailing list. Just click on that and it'll take you to this form. Again, British Forces Education Service. So obviously if you didn't go to a British school in Singapore, then this won't count for you. But pretty straightforward. First name, surname, maiden name, if different. Your address at the moment, the schools you attended, the years, your email, and your notes. And again, fill in the box with whatever's displayed there, and if you can't read it or understand it, you click that and you get a new one. Click it any number of times. Other notes, obviously, for anything else you want to add. These forms do not stay on the website. They go direct to Lynn. So there's no chance of being hacked or this information going amiss here. Okay, so that's that. I now bring back the other program and hello again. Okay, for the last item, we have the video of the reunion at Southampton. Again, I think this was taken by Bob Simmons or submitted by him, and it's mainly, well, it's all St. John's pupils who attended this one, just a small one. And we will, on a future programme, talk about small and mini reunions that take place all over the place, like Birmingham, Southampton, Plymouth, Portsmouth, etc. So that's for another programme. But we'll finish off with this one, and we'll see you in a fortnight's time. When I get it up. I'm having trouble with these buttons today.
Technology, and I got one of these £4 throwaway.
Well, it's probably best.
£4 throwaway.
Yeah, go for it. Top man. Cheers, John.
Thank you.
I hope you don't mind me swearing.
Well, I had contact with this for about 30 years.
Hey, the main man.
Class.
They went around and
No,
get in the background there. Who have we got?
What was it?
What was that? Mr. Stone. Hey, yeah. You look more like Pete Townsend every day, Steve.
E minor.
Supposedly, yeah. It's got a rather rude title.
I don't think it's good.
It's got a rather rude title.
Film made in Singapore.
The one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of was from Sheila.
That's what I need to do.
Yes. Yeah. We've actually got waving to the puppets.
Do you remember Patty?
Oh, yes, I
My name is Kathy Bird. But you're Kate now.
I've been all told because I'm on a camera.
Yeah, well, the Northern accent.
David Bailey.
We got Rob.
Oh yeah. I had said
Who are you then? It's Lynn. It's Lynn. I can see you now. Nice smile.
I came out without today.
Yeah, you're getting caught here. Hey.
Just whack. Just whack.
You're doing it. What was the word? The guy from Sunderland that were put in Quadrophenia. What's the blonde-haired? Played bass. Everything you, every song you make, Sting. Sting. You got a bit of a Sting aura about you. Yeah.
Pete Skinner.
Oh, even Kathy's got a roll on. Yeah.
So what is that? You've got to go. We just all know.
It's terribly innocent.